Awesome. So it says recording. Let's hope I did it right. Hey everybody, I'm Stephanie Gigliotti, and today, feel like a teacher, I'm going to talk to you about messaging. So I wrote down all these notes, and I was just thinking about all the things that like really I've learned, and you just kind of, there's so much stuff that you just kind of learn here and there. There's really not like one place that you go and you know everything about everything. So I was like thinking about, okay, if I go, like every time I would go and do something, I would jot it down just so I wouldn't forget like the little tips and tricks, because you pick up so much stuff everywhere. So hopefully you find some value in this. But the first thing that I thought about is, so I know Jackie like always says, from like day one, you pretty much messaged people like right out of the gate. So like that was not me at all. I don't know about you guys, but like even the word messaging, the thought of just straight out messaging people scared the crap out of me. And it was just, and you never really know why, because you're like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to die if I send a message out. But like I avoided it for a really long time. And when I did send messages, they weren't really good, and they were kind of spammy, like the things that you like shouldn't do. And then I would not get good responses. So then when people were mean to me, then I'd be like, nope, like I quit. I can't do this. Like it just totally threw me out of the game completely. So it was like all or nothing. So I have like a very love-hate relationship with messaging. But over probably the last year, I've gone about it completely differently. And I really wish that I would have done these things from the get-go, because it's really been a turning point in my business is messaging. I would say that I spend, like when I'm working, most of my time of working is in my messages. It's always in my DMs. I spend that more than I do like actually on Facebook.
I put it away. Go to bed.
Instagram, scrolling around.
Mommy, put it away. I said go to bed. You don't need to play with no fucking Spider-Man thing or whatever Iron Man thing. Go to bed.
How do I mute everybody?
Can you guys mute yourselves because we're recording? Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
See, I told you to go to bed. I'm so sorry.
Girl, mute yourself. Okay. No, not okay. All right. So, so I did not message, and I really think that it kind of hindered me for a long time. So I've learned some stuff, and it's really changed, especially recently. It's really with the KPI sheets, and it has like messaging 20 people. It has like changed everything for me in the last just a couple months. So it can be like a really powerful tool to completely change your business. So there's a couple different types. So first of all, and I always love, Jackie, like you always have the analogy of, okay, so you opened your own business, right? You have a business. So say your business was not health and wellness products, but say you opened a coffee shop. But if you had a coffee shop and you told nobody that you had a coffee shop, nobody would come to your coffee shop. Like, how would they even know that you had it? So you have to tell people what you have. And then it's kind of in their court, like up to them, whether they want to buy your coffee, or if they're interested in your coffee. Maybe they want to work at your coffee shop, but the ball is like then in their court. Really, your only job is to offer it to them. And then what they do with it, is whatever they do with it. You did your part, and that's all you have to do. So messaging that's all you're doing. You're informing, like you say, you're informing people of what you have, and what you have to offer, and how it can help them and help change their life, because of all the positive things that it's done in your life. And then whatever they do with that is what they do with it. Another thing, like Amanda always says, I remember this from like 3 years ago. She drilled this in my head, but posting is great, and you have to be posting, and you have to be consistent with posting, but posting is not asking. So if you think that people are just gonna, automatically just fall from the sky and jump in your inbox, and everybody be like, I want Thermophyte, like I want all this stuff. and you're going to sign all the people. Like, that's not how it works. Sadly, it is, you'll be waiting forever and ever. So you really have to like go after people. And posting is sort of, it's good and it gets people interested and it sees what you're doing, but it is not, just because you post that, you can't just do that. That's kind of like the lazy way out. You have to like do other things and post at the same time. It's like a whole system. You got to do all of it. It is not just one thing here and one thing there. It all goes together. So, people are not just going to jump and come to you and be like, oh yeah, I want to join your business and I want to buy all your health and wellness products. It doesn't work that way. If it did, we'd all be like crazy rich, right? So, you just have to ask. All you got to do is ask. I will say the first thing, my first tip is, if you do not have the app, it was called Bliss, but now it's called Boards. Get it. It is free and it is life changing. Life changing. It's free and it's called Boards. So you need to get it and you need to set it up super user friendly. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. So that's my first thing. You have to get Boards. So there are a couple different types of messaging. So you're messaging for potential distributors, you're messaging for potential loyal customers, and then you're messaging for host to post. I know Jackie, you're doing host to post in a couple days. So, we'll go over all the host to post. If you're not doing host to post, you really, really got to get onto it, because it opens so many different doors aside from just doing that initial host to post. So get on board if you are not yet. So we'll have training for that too. So don't worry. So my first, thought is like, how do you know who to message? Do you just like randomly scroll and you're like, I'm going to message this person, this person, this person? I mean, you can do it that way, but that's not really the most efficient way to do it. So, there's a couple different strategies to go about doing it. My first one is, so when you do make a post, people comment on it, you want to message them. Duh. Like, obviously they comment, they want information, and you message them. That's great. If everybody would just comment and want information, your job would be so easy. But, there's a lot of people that will like your post as well. They might not comment on it, but they'll just put a like on it. That is like free reign, to just go ahead and message them. Also, side note, all of my scripts that I have, I kind of try to put them in order, but I'm going to put them in the chat, and then I'll also like post them somewhere, wherever I can post them. So all the scripts that I'll talk about in this, I'm going to post them as well. So you'll have like everything I use, and I've gotten them from everywhere. I've gotten them from Lori Conway, from Jackie, from Amanda, from Jade Hooper, like all over the place. So lots of good options for you. So say you're messaging somebody that just liked a post, depending on what the post was. If it was for a business, it's like the easiest, simple thing. All you have to do is you just message them and say it's a business post. You would just say like, hey, I saw, like, thank you for liking my post. Would you be interested in more information on what I do? Or, would you be interested in information on the business? I think you would be amazing. What do you think? That's it. It is so simple. You do not need to send them like a whole paragraph. It is a couple of sentences. It's just to get a conversation going. That's all you want to do. You just want the conversation to start. So, and it's not, it doesn't feel, because I know a lot of people are like really hesitant for like cold messaging, but I don't feel like this is a cold message. When you are just asking, you're not messaging somebody and you're like, hey, buy my stuff. It's just, and if they're not interested, no big deal. If it is on a product post, I love those, because, there'll be so many people that like it. They won't comment, but you can say it's a cleanse, and you just come or message them, and you just say, hey, thank you so much for the love on my post. Would you be interested in more information on the cleanse, or were you just showing me some support? And I like doing that because it kind of gives people like an out. So say they just happened to like, people scroll and they just like. Maybe they didn't even pay attention to what it was, and that's fine. But if they weren't interested and you didn't say that other part, like, or were you just showing me some support? sometimes they'll just totally ignore you. But if you say that little end where you just showing me some support, it's kind of like an easy way for them to be like, oh no, I was just showing some love. And then I always message back like, thank you, like I really appreciate it. But it's still like that conversation starter. You're still planting that seed where, you know, they might watch you a little bit more than they normally would. So just like you're planting seeds everywhere. That's all you want to do. Just plant little seeds. So another way to find people, like how I message, is your stories. Oh my goodness. If you ever look at your stories and see how many people actually view your stories, it's like hundreds. It's crazy. And so I always notice too, like when you first add new people, the first thing they do is, if you're strangers and you don't know each other and you just, you know, friend requested them and they accepted you, they go to your stories and they see what you're all about, because they don't know you. They're like, who is this person? What's going on? And they will go and view your stories. So I really like to look at the viewers, and depending on what the story clip is that they looked at, just message. And again, it's the ease, like just something simple. 1 or 2 sentences is all you need. So if it's a business post or a business story, and all you have to say is, hey, thank you for watching my stories. I noticed you checked out one of my business posts. Would you be interested in more information? I think you would be amazing. That's it. They say yes or no. Product story, same thing. Thanks for checking out my stories on the hair, skin, and nails. Are you interested in more information about, you know, our hair growth vitamins? Or were you just, you know, checking them out? And it just kind of gives them that out, but it's still starting that conversation. And if it's just like a regular, like sometimes it's nice to just go and be nice, and it's like an engagement. So if they just watch something and it's like a family thing or like a funny something, like totally not business related, like, because you can message people not about the business, like that's totally okay. So I get so much amazing feedback when I message people and just say, hey, thanks for watching my stories. I really appreciate you, you know, checking them out, and I hope you have a fabulous day. That's it. Oh my goodness, the overwhelming messages I get back when people are like, wow, thank you, like, you're welcome. But really nice. That's all you got to do. Maybe do like 10 of those a day, but it's really good. You can check that off as like engagement. But you'd be surprised, like, especially if you're like feeling down and you're feeling like kind of, you know, message some like really nice messages to other people, and they message you back, and it really picks you up. Okay, so another way to message is now host a post. So this is not messaging like, you know, for host a post, because we're going to do a separate training on that. But once somebody puts up a host a post for you, oh my goodness, there's so many options. It opens up a whole world, which is why host the post is incredible, because it is more than just somebody putting a post up for you. There's so many things that can come out of it. So as soon as somebody posts for me, well, I give it a couple days. It depends on that person. If they've never done a post for me before, I always ask them about the business. And I give it like a day or 2, but I'll go back and message them, and I'll put the script in there too. But I say something like, hey, like, I really appreciate you putting that post up for me. Such a crazy question, but like, would you ever consider doing something like this for me? Because, you know, by you posting, that's all I do. And that's, you know, what you did. And I think you'd be really good at it. Would you be open to more information? Oh my gosh, 9 times out of 10, yes, they are open to information. They might not say, might sign on, but they want the information. And that's all your goal is. So that is first thing. Now, if it is somebody that has posted for me a couple times before, and yes, and exactly, Stormy, it is. Stormy did a host a post for me. A couple of days later, I asked her that, and she started. I mean, it's incredible just what like one little question can lead to. But if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. You have to ask. You have to ask. You're not going to die. I promise. But if it's a couple person, and she's right, exactly. Exactly. So if they've posted for me a couple times before, or maybe I've already asked them to do the business and either they said no or whatever, it never went anywhere. So another thing I will ask is if they want a coffee sample. That's a huge one, to sell coffee samples as well. Or if it's like somebody, like if it's a guy, and personally, I'm just, somebody that I'm just like, I'm not sure. Cause that's the beauty of this business. You can pick who you work with. Like, you pick your own team. That is what is so great about this. So if I'm like, I don't really think they, would be a good fit for me, I'm going to ask them for coffee. So, and I'll put the script in again, but I say something along the lines of like, hey, thank you for posting for me. So because you posted for me, I'd really love to give you this $5 off coupon for this awesome Skinny Brew coffee that I have. This is what Skinny Brew coffee is, blah, blah, blah. It's normally $20, but for you, I would give it to you for 15. Would you be interested? And you'd be surprised how many coffee samples that you can sell doing that. And I'll do that even to people that have posted for me a couple of times, and I've asked like other stuff, but always be selling the samples. Another good thing to do, and especially if you've like never done this before, download your friends list from Facebook. There is, I believe on the team page somewhere, just like search for it, but there is a tutorial. It's easy once you do it a couple times, super easy, but download your friends list and then, start from bottom and work your way up. This is so many good things out of this. One, it's a good way to weed out people that like you just, maybe they're negative, maybe like nothing really brings you value. I have so many friends from like high school that I didn't even like in high school, but you're always friends with everybody on Facebook. But it's a really good way to weed out people and just unfriend them because you want to make room for more potentials. So if there's somebody that is a negative person, every post that you see that they make, they are just full of negativity and bring you down, get rid of them. I give you permission, unfriend them. You don't need that up in your scroll every time. So that's the one good thing. Second is, just go through and you can start messaging people, and it doesn't have to be like a spammy thing. You can message if you think that they would be great on your team, and I have this one little script that I say, and in my boards, I label it, hey, crazy question, because that's what it is. It is so easy. And I always say, hey, I was just thinking about you. So crazy question. Would you ever be open like to making more income off your phone, off social media? Like, have you ever thought about working with me or doing anything like that? Have you ever even thought about it? Because like before I started this, never was this on my radar whatsoever. Never. So, and my enroller, Nicole, brought it to me. And if she hadn't, like, I would never have thought about it. I thought about it for 2 years before I started. But, if she didn't keep telling me, like, people sometimes they just really don't think like something like this is for them. So that's my favorite one. I get so many good responses back where they're like, yeah, I'll take some info. It's just that tiny little message has helped me so much. So download your friends list, either ask them if they, would be interested in information about being a distributor. You can do it for customers as well. I have great scripts for customers. And when I first started and I was getting like all my customers, that's what I messaged people. And it would be like, hey, I have, all these products. I'll give them like a little list, not our whole list, but like a little list. I have these products and I would love to give you my 40% off discount if you would, be one of my 90-day product testers. I have a whole script that says it, so it'll sound better. And I got a lot of customers just by doing that. And then another thing that I will, if I don't, either or, like I kind of feel it if I look at the person, especially if I really like know them in real life, I kind of get a feel for which one I want to send them. And if a distributor doesn't seem right now, and if a customer doesn't kind of feel right, I always ask everybody if they'll put a host to post up for me. It is such a good icebreaker, and it just, I don't feel like it's like shoving anything down their throat, and it'll just be all I say is, hey, I'm having this giveaway, and I was wondering if you would be willing to put up a post for me. And as a thank you, I'll enter you in my $100 giveaway this week. And, I message that to like everybody. If I've never messaged them before, it's a good icebreaker. It's a good way to like get in. You want to get in the inbox. That's all you want to do. Get in that inbox. Okay. And then, oh, here comes my baby. Another way, it's my recent favorite, and I learned it out of, okay, come on. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm sorry. He's not sleeping and my husband's not here and he's got a problem. Okay, so green light messaging. One of my current favorites that I never even thought about, Lori Conway mentioned it before. And so it's basically, you're going into your DMs and you're going into, I think it says participants or something, but it is for everybody that's like active right now. So you go in there and you kind of scroll through. Now, I was looking at it today. It used to be, I mean, just last week. And, like Facebook and stuff changes so often, you can't ever keep up with it. But it was everybody's at the bottom are the people that you've been friends with the longest. Everybody at the top are your newer friends. And so I would kind of stay in the middle-ish area. I try not to message people within the first 2 months of me being brand new friends with them. 2 months is kind of my thing. Whatever kind of works for you is good. It's just 2 months is like kind of my rule. So I do never friend somebody and then message them anything right away about any, unless it's like, I will say, thanks for watching my stories. I'll watch their stories and comment on their stories, but nothing like business related, because all they're going to say is, they're going to think, you just friended me to sell me something, and then they're going to unfriend you or block you. You don't want to be like that. So I give it a little bit of time. So that's why I kind of like to stay in the middle. But here's what's so great about green light messaging. You can be so efficient and knock out so many things from that KPI sheet just in green light messaging. So I will go through and I'll click on a name. So if I've never messaged that person before, I'll message them a post. Hey, would you be willing to put up a post for me? If I click on my message, if I've asked them to do a post for me before, either they did do it and I never asked them about the business, or they ignored me, I will still ask them about the business and I'll send them my, hey, crazy question script. If it was a potential customer, couple options on a potential customer. If, because sometimes like people fall off your radar and you don't even know. I'll click open a message and, I haven't followed up with somebody in 6 months. Like it happens, I try not to let that happen, but it happens. So if that's the case, follow up. If like your conversation kind of went dead and nothing really happened, then, just follow up. Hey, are you still interested in those products? We have a really great sale right now. It's, you can save like 60 to 70% off. Would you be interested? Do you want more information? Something like that. If it was a customer and I followed up with them a couple times, or potential customer, I'm sorry. If I followed up with them a couple times and they have not said anything back to me and they've been ignoring me, I asked them to do a post, and all of a sudden I'm offering them some free money and they're like, hey, here I am. Yep. I'd love to do that for you and get entered in your drawing. So I asked them to do a post. If it was a potential customer, and something they wanted the products, but like they couldn't afford it, or they were like wishy-washy on it, I'll ask them if they would be interested in the business. Because here's the best thing about potential customers and asking about the business. If they can't afford the products, you can always say, would you ever consider doing this with me? Because you could use the products and make money. Doesn't that sound amazing? And people would be really interested in hearing more about it, especially because you can explain not only, you can make money, but the product credit. So if you're interested in the products, I can show you how you can get those products for free. Oh my gosh, it's the best thing. So I will ask them, you ask the business for anybody, really, you'd be surprised the amount of people that actually say yes, or at least want more information. There's also another one that I really liked. It's on this Jade Hooper LC video, which I'm going to put in my scripts as well, because I think it's only like 10 minutes and it is so good. I think everybody should watch it. But what she does is, say you had somebody that they were interested in Thermophyte or the cleanse, and you messaged them a couple times and they never really responded back, or they did, but they didn't really give you a date, or they said they were going to order and they didn't order, whatever the case may be. You can ask them, just make up some random challenge. Like, hey, Susie, I have this 90-day botanical hair growth challenge, and I thought about you. Would you be interested in hearing more about it? Just like make up that you have some challenge going on, right? It's always a 90-day challenge. And see, because here's the thing, we have so many products, and although a lot of the times too, you'll get potentials from host to post. And like when you do host to post, it will be just about one product. Maybe it's weight loss, it's Thermophyte. So they commented on that. Well, maybe they weren't really interested in that, but they don't know that we have 35 products. So if you come at them with a hair growth challenge or a skincare challenge or a body contouring challenge, they might be interested in something else that you have. So, always throw that out there, and watch the video, because Jade makes up all these great names for things, and it makes it sound so fancy, but it works really well. I've actually gotten a lot of customers doing that. So, okay. I want to then move on for customers when you're messaging them. So it's really important, kind of how you word things too, when you're talking to customers. And I do the same thing. I say the same, say it the same way every single time. Consistent. I have it in my board saved. I might change pricing, but other than that, I say things exactly the same way. It's so easy. So say somebody is, and you post on something, they're interested in hair, skin, and nails. So what you're going to message them is, hey, I saw your comment. Thanks for commenting. This is the hair, skin, nails, and this is what it does, blah, 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 a couple lines about that. And it's just $36 with our loyal customer program. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in? They say yes. If they say yes, then, you can explain what the loyal customer program is. And I'll put my scripts in there as well for all that. So I explain what the loyal customer program is. So if, and then you always end a message with a question, always, because it keeps your conversation going. If you just end it with a statement, there's really nowhere for it to go. So if it's a question, it kind of prompts them to give you some sort of response. So you always say does that sound good? Does that make sense? How does that sound? Just something like that. So when they say yes and they want to order, I always say, okay, that's great. I can place the order for you. I just need some information, or I have a website that you can order from. I will always try to get them to let me order for them. So many reasons why you want to do that. And you'd be surprised. Strangers will give you their credit card information so easily. Some people won't, and that's totally fine. But if you can, always put the order in for them, because then it's correct. It's on your website. It's set up correctly, and then there's no hassle. Then you can also help them log in and stuff. It's so much easier all around. But if not, you send them their website. Yes, but always try to send them a shopping cart again. So it's just, you want to try to prevent as much error as you possibly can ahead of time, so you don't have to go back and fix things. Shopping carts are so easy. So if they want your website, just set up a shopping cart for them and send them that shopping cart. Now, if they say that they can't afford it, especially right now, that's happening a lot. I can't afford it, or that's too much for me. I always say, I totally understand. Everything I start with, I understand, because you understand, and you want people to know that, they are not just dollar bills to you. They are people, and they're not just a sale. So I always say, if they can't afford it, the first thing I do is offer the business. Okay, crazy question. Would you be interested in doing this with me? Because you can use the products and you can make money. So that's a great question. Now, if they say no, or no, or no, or no, if they're totally not interested, like I understand. I totally understand. No worries at all. And I hope you have a great week. Always just kind of keep it friendly and open, because you're always going to go back to that person down the road for so many different other things. Maybe in a couple weeks, they're going to do a hoster post for you. Maybe they watch you and then they finally want to become a distributor. So always keep it like, I always like kill them with kindness. Be as like kind as you possibly can be. If they do want to order, but they just can't, maybe they have to wait till payday. Always tell them that, that's great. I will save your discounted spot for you. Just give me, what date do you want to order? Is it on Friday? Is it next Friday? Whatever date, I'm going to put you in my calendar and I'm going to save that spot for you so you can get that discount. And then you better make sure you follow up with them on the date that they give you on whatever payday is. Don't forget, you got to write that down in your calendar, write it down wherever you need to, but don't forget to follow up with them. One thing you never, ever, ever, never under any circumstances ever say, let me know. Never say, let me know. Nobody will ever let you know. So you have to like phrase it some differently. But those are like words that'll kill your business kind of things. Don't say, let me know, because it'll never happen. Another thing is if they say, or don't like offer up your website and say, hey, well, here's my website. You can just go look and stuff and then let me know. Oh my goodness, that'll never happen. So only give them your website when they're ready to order, because what you're going to say to them is, let me know when you're ready. I'll give you my website and then I will walk you through it. So then you're with them, you care and you want to make sure that they're, ordering the correct thing and going through it and doing everything right. And then also you can, make sure they are putting the order in when they say so, or if they're going to do it in the very near future, I'll just give them a little instructions on how to do it in your website and everything. But if they, are out at work or something and they don't plan on ordering until like, if it's morning and they're not going to order till at least night or not the next day, just wait, and give it to them then, because you just have a lot more chance of them ordering than totally blowing you off if you just give them your website. So, there's a lot of gray areas with that. Sometimes you have to, and then when they don't order, you follow up, and that's a whole other training as well. So I'm also going to put in my messages on when I send all the distributor messages. It's the same thing. Like it's easy. Like it is like the same thing over and over and over again. So when I message somebody for distributor, first, it's always hey, I have a crazy question. When they say yes to more information, I have a whole script. I send the exact same thing. And Jackie, I'm pretty sure I got it from you, but and I will put that. So it's like the first little paragraph, you just change it to be like your story. And then the rest of it is the same. It's super easy. So, and at the end is a question. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in? When they say yes, then you can send them PDT video. There's a couple options. I know Amanda has one. Lori has one as well. The one actually I've been sending just everybody I'm talking to just today, the recording from Michaela's Zoom last night. I've been sending that one because it was so good. I have made my own PDT video, so I'll send that as well. You can make your own. That would be awesome, so that they are seeing you. But it's kind of like a video that explains a little bit more, and people are just more likely to watch videos. So that's what I do. And then I follow up with them and see if they watched it and what questions they have. So I'll put all that in there too. So the only last things that I have, just some tips, last minute tips. One, get boards. Used to be called Bliss. Trust me, get it. It's free. It is life-changing. If you don't want to do that, then use your notes app. Just be organized. Like the more organized you are, the easier all of this is going to be. So before I got boards, I would just put everything in my notes, and I just organized it by notes. So like everything DT related, I'd have in one note, and I would be like DT. If it was host to post, just be as organized as you can possibly be will make your life so much easier in the long run. And you're not going back and forth and stuff, especially because you're going to be talking to so many people now after this Zoom that you're going to need to be as organized as you possibly can be. One thing, if I message somebody like 4 to 6 times and crickets, nothing, I hear nothing back, personally, I unfriend them because they're not going to be interested. I mean, 4 to 6 times, I'm kind of hurt by then. By that point, I'm like, see you later. Sometimes you just gotta, unfriend people because you want to make room for new people, fresh people. So after my limit's like 4 to 6. Also when you're messaging, you have to do it in like a chunk block of time. That is when you're going to be the most efficient. So even if you only have 10 minutes, you can get so much, you'd be surprised how much you can get done in 10 minutes. That's why I like the green light messaging so much, because it is so fast. Everything is right there. You can just go through. It knocks out engagement. It knocks out asking for host to post. It knocks out for PDTs, PLCs. So good. Both 4 to 6. Yeah. Follow-ups. That's what I do. I'm just like, all right, peace. But if you want to like keep them on it, I would say just, it's probably like a case by case basis, but that's kind of what the rule I follow. So when you're doing your messaging, even if you only have 10 minutes and you're doing your chunk of time, okay, you're busting out all these messages, people start replying to it, but don't pay attention to it. Don't reply, don't go back, because you will get so distracted and the squirrel, you'll be like all over the place and you'll get nothing done. So set your timer if you have to, and or like if you have a goal of, I need to send out 20 PDT messages. When that's done, then you can go back and reply to people, but don't do it before then, because it'll distract you and you won't get near as much done as you wanted to. So just keep going. Don't worry about the replies. Like you don't even see them. Negative responses. So unfortunately, there are mean people in the world. And I have always, like, forever and ever, the reason people are mean to other people is because they are very unhappy with their own life and they need to bring other people down, like, to their level. And that is what they do, because happy people are not mean like that. Content people. So keep that in mind. You cannot take it personally if somebody is mean to you. Don't get your feelings hurt. Just also remember, like, these are probably strangers and people you'll never meet, people you don't know in real life. If it's that bad, just block them, unfriend them, or block them. If you just don't even want to see their face anymore, if it's that bad. This one time I remember, this was like 2 years ago, but I asked her, it was like a PDT question. Oh my gosh, what she came back with, like, I seriously almost cried. It was really bad. It was really bad. And, it's like one message like that will totally take you out, because then I did message for like 6 months. But seriously, don't let it bother you, because, this is a business. All your job is to offer it out. That is it. You're planting the seeds. It's not your job for them to say yes or them to say no. All you're doing is planting the seeds. Yes. So exactly. If somebody doesn't want to see the opportunity that you have, they're not worth your time. If people, just simply say no, a lot of people, if they're not interested, will be super nice about it. And they will say, thank you for thinking of me, but no, thanks, I'm not interested. Okay, that's totally fine. I understand. This is not for everybody, and I get it. But like, what if it was? I had to ask, and we'll stay friends and it'll be great. But so if you get no's, don't take it personally. Don't let it take you out, because you got to stay. That's where the self-development comes in. to play as well. You have to just keep going. Just keep going. You'll be fine. Messages, things, but yeah. And that's pretty much like, that is kind of all I had. The closing that I had was, you know, all you have, just think of it as you are planting, you are like a farmer and you are planting seeds everywhere you go, planting your seeds. And then, you know, it kind of takes that pressure off of you feeling like you're being spammy or salesy. All you're doing is planting seeds. You know, you don't care if they're saying yes or you're saying no. That is not the goal. It doesn't matter. You don't need them to say yes. You don't need them to say no right away. All you're getting is planting something in their head for them to think about it. So if you think about it like that, it's a little bit easier to like reach out. That's it. That's all I had. Anybody have any questions about anything? I'm going to put those scripts in here too. Wow, that went like 45 minutes. Sorry. Okay. So, yep, it's perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to put let me find my scripts real fast. I'll put them in the chat. Let me get all these. It's a lot. I got so organized today from doing all this.
You can stop recording if you want.
Oh, okay, good. Yes. Stopping.